guys, I have been studying recently for an exam in my post-colonial international relations class, and it involved making this beautiful timeline on this whiteboard sheet behind me, and I thought today I would just talk briefly about the magic whiteboard sheets that I use to make the timeline, and also a few tips on why you should be including timelines when you study for history. Okay, so the product I used, or product seems a bit funny, but what I use to make the timeline, it's called Magic Whiteboard. That's the brand name, and it comes in this sort of like tube type box, and basically it has 25 sheets that are like this one, and you just pull them out, and this is the best part, you don't have to cut them. They actually have like perforated like strips, and you just tear them, which is really good because I cannot cut in a straight line to save my life, like with wrapping paper and stuff, and I thought all of mine would have wonky edges. But there's the perforation bit, so you just tear them. You can use any whiteboard pens with these, which is great. You don't need to buy like a special pen from the company or anything. And they are erasable, so therefore reusable. And the coolest part is there's no adhesive backing or anything to them. So like I can just pull this like that and it sticks completely using static to your wall, and it'll stick to pretty much any flat surface, whether it's like just a regular painted wall or glass or your fridge or, you know, your dresser maybe if you have like a flat backing to it or whatever. So wherever you want to stick it, it just uses static, which is completely awesome because I don't know about you guys, but I don't like putting things on my walls that then when I pull them off, like it'll pull the paint off because it just looks really bad and it's not very good for your house. So the static part is really, really convenient. So I bought this lovely tube of all of the whiteboard sheets in England off of Amazon last year, so I imagine you could probably find it off of Amazon. I did look in Canada and it's ridiculously expensive because it's an English company. It's like $77 on Canadian Amazon, but ideally there's probably sort of like a North American equivalent to it, so I imagine if you do a bit more Googling than I did, I only looked for like 45 seconds, you could find something where you live that will work in the same way that this does. The cool thing about this company is they do also do a magic blackboard version, so they have blackboard sheets that will stick to your wall with static as well. I don't like blackboards. I find it really difficult to write neatly with chalk. I just feel like it doesn't look neat for like a school type thing, which is what I want it for. I think it would look really cool in your room just like as decoration to have chalk, but I already struggle enough to keep my writing neat on a whiteboard, so chalk and blackboards don't really work for me. Side note, if you are one of those people who have like beautiful kindergarten teacher quality whiteboard writing, please tell me your ways and like share your secrets with me, because I have nice writing, like my penmanship is quite neat and tidy, but somehow put me with a whiteboard marker and a whiteboard and it all just goes to the window and kind of just looks like a bit of a hot mess. So obviously I used this sheet that's up on my wall to make a timeline, although you totally don't have to use it that way. You can pretty much only be limited by your imagination for what you want to do with it. I think it'd be really cool as like a monthly calendar. I know lots of people do monthly whiteboard calendars, and in this case you don't have to have like a backing for it and hang it up on your wall. You can just stick it up there and erase it every month. Or pretty much any kind of study tool. You could do like terms and definitions, verb conjugations, like an outline for an essay, pretty much anything. I just think it happens to lend itself particularly well to timelines, because a good way to kind of get dates in your head so that you remember them is to have them somewhere that you see all the time. So in this case, it's on my bedroom wall. I see it pretty much every day, multiple times a day, and the dates just kind of get stuck in my head a little bit better. Something that a lot of people find somewhat difficult in history is remembering tons and tons and tons of dates, because there are a lot of dates to remember, no matter what sort of type of history you're studying or how large, you know, the time period that you're studying for a particular test or exam. There are always going to be lots of dates. So one of the best ways to memorize is to sort of engage in a practice called mental rehearsal, which is essentially going over information multiple times that will enhance your retention and recall of the information. So you'll be able to learn it better and be able to recall it on demand, which would be in your exam. One of the best ways to do that is by writing it out multiple times. So for me, all the information that's on here is written out 3 times. It's all in my massive study guide, which has way more information than this, and then I plucked all the dates out and organized them on a blank sheet of paper, and then wrote them again, so 3 times, when I put them on the whiteboard. And my last piece of advice for why you should use timelines, especially when you're studying history, is that nothing in history happens in a vacuum. It's all related to events prior and events in the future, and if you put it all out on a chronological timeline and you can see, you know, how events affect each other and see when they happen in relation to each other, you are going to have a much easier time doing your exam, particularly when it comes to the essay portions of your exams. You need to know how certain events influence the events that came after them, and if you have that visual timeline in your mind of the order of the events, that's going to make it much easier for you, and you won't make silly mistakes where you say event A occurred before event B and your professor is actually sitting there thinking, well, actually, it was the other way around, and that's a really odd error because now nothing in your essay makes any sense. So that's pretty much it for the video today. I highly recommend something like this. It's really cool. I love that it's static. It just like totally makes it like an 100% rating, like 5 stars. However you want to rate it, it gets all of the ratings from me. I'm super obsessed with it now. And I highly recommend trying to incorporate timelines into your study routine if you're studying history or anything else where you need to kind of sequentially lay things out in a chronological order. It doesn't have to be on something like this. It can just be on a piece of paper. You can make a list. It could be on your computer. But whatever method you choose, I do highly recommend putting things on a timeline, looking at them chronologically, and it does have the bonus of helping you remember the dates a little bit better as well. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later. Bye!